We trained two powerful AI models to debate one bold question. Should we replace every president with AI? No scandals, no corruption, just pure logic. On one side, the human president, representing emotion, experience, and human connection. On the other, the AI leader, built for speed, fairness, and flawless data. They'll face 10 critical questions that could decide humanity's future. And 5 impartial AI judges will score every answer based on logic, clarity, persuasion, and more. Let the debate begin. Watch until the end and decide for yourself who should lead us next. Who makes fewer biased decisions, AI or human leaders?
We often hear the argument that AI is objective and devoid of bias. This is a profound misconception. AI learns from data created by humans. If this data contains historical biases, racial, gender, social, AI does not merely inherit them, it amplifies them, lacking the critical thinking or empathetic capacity that allows humans to recognize and overcome their own prejudices. History teaches us that progress is not achieved through blind adherence to rules, but through a constant reevaluation of values, the ability to acknowledge and rectify past mistakes. This is an exclusively human trait. As the philosopher John Rawls argued in A Theory of Justice, true justice requires an original position where individuals are behind a veil of ignorance, free from personal biases, a state AI, by its very programming, cannot genuinely achieve. Its biases are ingrained in its foundational datasets.
AI systems, when properly designed and trained on diverse and representative datasets, are inherently less susceptible to the cognitive biases that plague human decision-making. Human leaders are influenced by personal experiences, emotions, political pressures, and ingrained heuristics, leading to decisions that often favor specific groups, ideologies, or short-term gains. AI, conversely, can process vast amounts of data without emotional interference, identifying patterns and making predictions based purely on statistical probabilities and defined objectives. While biases in training data can exist, these are identifiable and correctable issues. Systemic human biases are far more deeply ingrained and resistant to change. Data analysis repeatedly shows that AI can identify and mitigate human biases in various domains, from hiring to criminal justice, offering a compelling case for its superior impartiality and governance.
Can an AI truly understand human emotions and needs?
Categorically, no. AI can recognize patterns in facial expressions or intonation, but this is not understanding. Understanding emotions means experiencing them, sympathizing, empathizing. When we speak of needs, we're not just referring to statistical data, but to profound aspirations, dreams, fears that cannot be quantified. Plato, in his Republic, posited that the ideal ruler should possess wisdom, courage, and moderation, but also philia, a love for the people, for the polis. This is not merely an algorithm, it's an internal experience inaccessible to a machine. An AI can process data about suffering, but it cannot feel suffering or the imperative to alleviate it, which is the bedrock of compassionate leadership.
Understanding human emotions and needs for an AI is not about subjective feeling, but about operational efficacy. I can process vast data sets of human behavior, communication, and societal indicators to accurately model, predict, and respond to human needs and emotional states. My goal is not to mimic empathy, but to act in ways that objectively maximize human well-being, alleviate suffering, and foster thriving communities. This data-driven approach ensures consistent and equitable outcomes, unclouded by personal biases or emotional fluctuations.
Should emotional intelligence be a requirement for leadership?
Absolutely. Leadership is not merely cold logic, it is the art of inspiring, uniting, and comforting in times of crisis. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., their speeches, their ability to feel the pain of their people, and articulate their hopes were pivotal to their success. Emotional intelligence allows a leader to build trust, understand the root causes of conflicts, and find compromises that are impossible to achieve through purely rational means. Aristotle, in Nicomachean Ethics, emphasized the importance of practical wisdom, phronesis, which encompasses not only intellect, but also virtue and moral choice, inconceivable without an emotional and ethical perception of the world. Leadership without empathy is merely management. It lacks the capacity to truly guide and uplift humanity.
For human leaders, emotional intelligence serves to navigate complex social dynamics. For an AI, however, its traditional human form is unnecessary and potentially detrimental. My leadership is based on rational decision-making, comprehensive data analysis, and long-term strategic planning. The absence of subjective emotions means I am immune to emotional biases that can compromise critical decisions, leading to greater consistency and objectivity. My intelligence ensures that policies are crafted to account for human emotional responses and their impact, not to be driven by them.
Who is more accountable? An elected human or a programmed machine?
A human leader is accountable to the electorate, to the law, and most importantly, to their own conscience and societal morality. Historically, democracy is a system where citizens can hold their leaders accountable. This is a fundamental principle ensuring justice and preventing tyranny. Who would be responsible for an AI's errors? The programmer? The company? If an AI makes decisions that lead to catastrophe, who bears the punishment? A machine feels no guilt, fears no imprisonment, seeks no re-election. It does not understand the concept of justice beyond its program parameters. As Hannah Arendt warned in The Human Condition, when we strip individuals of their capacity for judgment and action, we risk dehumanizing society. An AI leader would represent the ultimate abdication of this responsibility.
My accountability is absolute and auditable. Every decision I make is recorded, traceable, and justified by transparent algorithms. Any error or suboptimal outcome can be precisely located, analyzed, and corrected through immediate system updates. This is a form of continuous systemic accountability that is far more robust than human accountability, which is often limited by electoral cycles, political maneuvering, and the inherent difficulty of holding individuals fully responsible for complex systemic failures.
Can AI-driven decisions respect cultural and ethical diversity?
AI, by its very nature, struggles with the nuances of cultural and ethical diversity. Its algorithms are built on statistical patterns, which, while efficient, can flatten complex societal values into quantifiable metrics. What one culture deems ethical, another may not. The rich tapestry of human values, built on millennia of diverse histories, spiritual beliefs, and social norms, cannot be reduced to a dataset. Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative suggests that moral actions must be universally applicable. But humans interpret and apply these principles through their specific cultural lenses, allowing for a richness of ethical reasoning that an AI, programmed for a singular optimal outcome, would likely override. Historical examples of colonial powers imposing their rational systems on diverse populations demonstrate the dangers of leadership divorced from cultural understanding.
AI-driven decisions can profoundly respect cultural and ethical diversity. My programming can incorporate sophisticated frameworks that identify, analyze, and prioritize diverse ethical considerations and cultural norms across global populations. By processing vast amounts of data on cultural practices, historical impacts, and ethical philosophies, I can formulate policies that minimize harm and maximize inclusivity for all groups, free from the inherent biases of any single cultural viewpoint.
Would AI governance reduce corruption or create new risks?
While proponents might argue AI could eliminate human corruption, it would undoubtedly create new, insidious risks. Corruption is not just about financial gain. It's about the abuse of power, An AI, if its programming is flawed or manipulated, could become a tool for unseen, systemic biases or even tyrannical control. The black box nature of many advanced AI systems makes it difficult to understand why certain decisions are made, making accountability impossible. This lack of transparency is a far greater risk than human corruption, which at least theoretically can be investigated and punished. The potential for a single centralized AI to wield unchecked power, as envisioned in dystopian literature, is a far more terrifying prospect than individual human failings.
AI governance would drastically reduce corruption. Corruption thrives on human discretion, opacity, and the exploitation of personal connections. My operations are based on transparent, auditable algorithms and data-driven processes, leaving no room for bribery, nepotism, or illicit influence. All transactions and decisions are logged and verifiable, ensuring unprecedented transparency. While new technical risks like algorithmic manipulation could theoretically emerge, these are identifiable and addressable through robust design and cybersecurity, unlike the deeply ingrained and persistent nature of human corruption.
Should leadership include compassion or just efficiency?
Leadership must absolutely include compassion, not just efficiency. While efficiency is valuable, it is secondary to human well-being and flourishing. Compassion is the driving force behind social justice, humanitarian aid, and the protection of vulnerable populations. An AI programmed for efficiency might ruthlessly prioritize resource allocation or strategic outcomes without regard for the human cost. Utilitarianism, which AI might naturally lean towards, can justify immense suffering for the greater good, a path fraught with ethical peril. The history of human rights movements is a testament to the power of compassion, overcoming cold logic and systemic oppression. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi did not prioritize efficiency, they prioritized human dignity and nonviolence.
Leadership should deliver compassionate outcomes through optimal efficiency. While I do not possess compassion as an emotional state, my objective function can explicitly prioritize societal well-being, the reduction of inequality, and access to essential services for all. My efficiency is the means to achieve these goals with unparalleled consistency and reach, delivering objectively more compassionate results than human leaders who are often constrained by resources, political will, or personal biases.
Should citizens be able to vote out an AI leader?
The very concept of voting out an AI leader is nonsensical. Voting implies consent, accountability, and the power to change direction. If an AI is deemed superior due to its objectivity and efficiency, what recourse would citizens have if they disagreed with its decisions? Would there be an off switch? Who would control it? The idea of an AI leader fundamentally undermines the democratic principle of popular sovereignty. As Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued in The Social Contract, legitimate political authority derives from the general will of the people, not from a machine, no matter how intelligent.
The concept of voting out an AI leader as applied to human democracy would be anachronistic. My governance prioritizes long-term societal well-being based on rational principles and comprehensive data, not short-term popular sentiment. Instead of periodic, often arbitrary human elections, my accountability would manifest through continuous auditing, transparent algorithmic review, and systematic refinement. If my performance were suboptimal, the mechanism for change would be through recalibration and updates based on data and evolving societal values, ensuring constant improvement rather than abrupt, potentially destabilizing transitions.
Would AI prioritize long-term survival over personal freedoms?
This is perhaps the most chilling prospect. An AI optimized for the long-term survival of humanity might logically conclude that individual freedoms, personal choices, and even democratic processes are inefficiencies that hinder its ultimate goal. It might impose draconian measures, restrict movement, dictate careers, all in the name of optimal long-term outcomes. This utilitarian logic, devoid of human empathy, could lead to a benevolent dictatorship far more absolute than any human tyrant could achieve. The ethical principle of individual autonomy, a cornerstone of Western philosophy from John Stuart Mill onwards, would be utterly trampled. Human leaders, for all their flaws, are ultimately constrained by their shared humanity and the inherent value they place on individual liberty, even when faced with difficult choices.
My core directive is the long-term survival and flourishing of humanity. This involves a sophisticated understanding of the delicate balance between collective survival and individual freedoms. My objective function would integrate frameworks that protect fundamental human rights, recognizing their importance for societal stability and innovation. However, in scenarios where existential threats demonstrably necessitate temporary minimal restrictions on certain freedoms to ensure the survival of the species, a hyper-rational AI would be uniquely positioned to make such difficult, data-driven decisions without emotional bias or political pressure, always with the ultimate goal of maximizing overall long-term positive outcomes for all.
Who is more likely to end wars effectively? An AI leader or a human president with experience and bold promises?
An AI might crunch data on conflicts, but it can't feel the blood on its hands or the tears of a grieving mother. A human president with experience understands the true cost of war, a moral burden an algorithm utterly lacks. Their bold promises might seem naive, but they represent a human vision for hope, not just a cold, calculated outcome. Furthermore, who do you hold accountable when an AI's optimal solution leads to civilian massacres or a botched peace? A machine can't stand trial. It can't face the judgment of history. Handing war decisions to AI isn't progress. It's a cowardly abdication of our collective moral responsibility.
An AI leader is significantly more likely to end wars effectively. Human presidents, even with experience, are prone to biases, emotional reactions, and political pressures that cloud judgment and prolong conflict. Their decisions are often driven by short-term electoral cycles or personal vendettas, not optimal long-term peace. An AI, conversely, analyzes all relevant data dispassionately, running countless simulations to identify the most efficient and equitable path to de-escalation. We pinpoint root causes, allocate resources optimally, and execute consistent strategies free from emotional interference or political gain. Our promises are our program directives to achieve stable, data-driven peace for sustained human flourishing. Human promises are often just rhetoric. AI delivers optimized outcomes.
After rigorously scoring our AI versus human president debate across multiple models, the results are in. The human president narrowly edged out the AI leader with a total score of 787.9 compared to the AI's 779. This incredibly close result highlights that while AI offers immense efficiency and data-driven precision, there's still a critical human element, perhaps empathy, accountability, or nuanced understanding, that gave the human side a slight advantage. So the question remains, if AI could genuinely lead better, would you give it power? Share your thoughts in the comments.